Jessica pressed her forehead lightly against the cool airplane window, watching the neat rows of city lights fade into the distance as the plane climbed higher above New York. It felt strange to be leaving the place where she had spent her entire life, but the excitement inside her drowned out the nerves. Washington awaited her, a new chapter, a chance to finally pursue her dream of becoming a doctor. She had worked endlessly for this moment. Late nights studying, weekends spent volunteering at hospitals, and endless applications that finally paid off with an acceptance letter from one of the country's most respected medical programs. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, breaking her thoughts. A message from Monica lit up the screen. "Good luck, Jess. I know you'll do amazing. Don't forget us when you're famous." Jessica smiled softly. Monica had been her closest friend since high school, the kind of friend who had been at every birthday party, every heartbreak, every late-night coffee run. Jessica couldn't imagine her life without her. And then there was Bill. Just thinking of him made her heart tighten. He had promised to visit her on weekends, to call every night, and to be there when things got overwhelming. He had hugged her at the airport that morning, whispering, "Go make me proud." Jessica believed him. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but she trusted him deeply. She was sure the distance would only make them stronger. The plane landed in Washington hours later, and Jessica stepped out with renewed determination. The campus was alive with students buzzing about orientation week, and the city itself seemed to pulse with possibility. She threw herself into her classes immediately, eager to prove that she belonged. Anatomy labs, lectures, study groups. It was exhausting, but she thrived on the challenge. Each evening, she would sit by the dorm window with her books piled around her, reminding herself that every hour of work was a step closer to her future. Yet, even in her busiest days, she found herself missing home. She missed the little things. Monica's easy laughter when they shared secrets over coffee, Bill's voice on the phone late at night. At first, they stayed connected. Bill called, Monica sent long texts about her day. But slowly, Jessica began to notice small changes. Bill's calls grew shorter, sometimes rushed. He would say he was tired, that he'd call tomorrow, but then tomorrow would come and go without a word. Monica, too, seemed different. Her messages became vague, sometimes taking hours to respond. When Jessica asked to video chat, Monica would decline, saying she wasn't feeling well or was too busy. Jessica brushed it off. After all, life was busy for everyone, but a quiet unease began to settle in her chest. One evening, while Jessica was reviewing her notes for an exam, her phone buzzed again. It was a social media notification. Monica had posted a picture at a restaurant Jessica used to love. At first, Jessica smiled, until her eyes caught a detail she almost missed. In the corner of the photo, barely visible, was a reflection in the restaurant's window. A familiar profile. Bill. Jessica's breath caught. She stared at the image, zooming in, her pulse racing. She told herself it was probably nothing, just someone who looked like him. But deep down, a tiny voice whispered doubts she didn't want to hear. Why hadn't Monica mentioned going out with Bill? Why hadn't Bill said anything? She tried to push it aside, burying herself in her studies. But the seed of suspicion had already been planted, and it grew quietly in the back of her mind. Days later, she received another message from Monica, casual and lighthearted. Just hanging out. Nothing new here. Miss you. Jessica stared at it for a long time. Something about the words felt wrong. Too polished, too simple. Monica always had 1,000 little stories to tell, yet now she gave her nothing. That night, as Jessica lay in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling. She replayed Bill's excuses in her mind, Monica's delayed replies, and the shadowy reflection in that photo. It was probably innocent, she told herself. Probably. But what if it wasn't? Jessica closed her eyes, making herself a promise. She would find out the truth, no matter how painful it might be. If there was one thing she had learned through years of hard work, it was that answers don't reveal themselves. You have to dig for them. She didn't yet know that this was the beginning of something far greater than she imagined. What awaited her wasn't just the challenge of becoming a doctor, but a test of her strength, her intelligence, and her ability to stay composed even when her heart was breaking. And if her suspicions turned out to be true, then Monica, her best friend, and Bill, the man she loved, had no idea just how dangerous it was to betray someone like Jessica. Jessica tried to forget the strange photo she had seen on Monica's social media. She told herself many times that it could not be Bill. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was only her imagination. She was busy with her studies, and she wanted to focus on her dream of becoming a doctor. But still, in the quiet evenings, the picture returned to her mind. She remembered the reflection in the window, the shape of the face, the way he sat. It looked so much like Bill that it made her heart heavy. The days passed quickly at the university. Jessica spent long hours in the library, reading about anatomy, biology, and chemistry. She joined a study group, and her professors told her that she was one of the best students. She was proud of her progress, but the empty feeling in her chest did not go away. She wanted to believe that Bill was still the same person who hugged her at the airport and told her to make him proud. She wanted to believe that Monica, her closest friend, was still loyal and kind. One Friday evening, after a long day of lectures, Jessica decided to call Bill. She needed to hear his voice. The phone rang many times before he answered. "Hey, Jess," he said quickly. His tone was flat, almost cold. "Hi, Bill. How are you?" Jessica asked with a smile, trying to sound cheerful. "I'm fine, just tired. It's been a busy week." "Do you have plans this weekend?" There was a short silence before he replied. "Yeah, I have some things to do. Maybe we'll talk later, okay?" Jessica wanted to ask more, but the call ended. She stared at the screen, confused. Something was wrong. The next morning, she tried Monica. They used to talk for hours, laughing about silly things, sharing secrets. But now Monica answered with short sentences. "How are you, Jess?" "I'm fine. Just studying a lot," Jessica said. "And you?" "Oh, same old. Nothing special." "Do you want a video chat tonight?" Jessica asked hopefully. Not tonight. I'm not feeling well." Jessica bit her lip. The excuses were always the same. Too busy. Too tired. Not feeling well. One Sunday afternoon, Jessica decided to check Monica's social media again. She scrolled through the pictures, the posts, the comments. Most things seemed normal. Photos of coffee, books, funny jokes. But then she found another photo. It was Monica, smiling at a cafe. And there, in the background, Jessica saw it again, Bill's jacket. She knew it very well. It was the one she had bought for him last winter. Her heart dropped. It could not be a mistake anymore. She zoomed in on the picture. The face was blurry, but the jacket was clear. It was Bill. Jessica closed her laptop and sat still for a long time. Tears filled her eyes, but she did not cry. Instead, she felt a wave of calm. She finally understood. The truth was clear. While she was away in Washington, Monica and Bill were together. She remembered all the little signs, the short calls, the excuses, the hidden smiles in Monica's photos. She had ignored them because she wanted to believe in her friend and her boyfriend. Now she could not ignore them anymore. Jessica spent the next days moving through her classes like a shadow. She did not tell anyone what she had discovered. She listened in lectures, she took notes, she studied late at night. On the outside, she was the same hardworking student. But inside, her thoughts were different. She imagined Monica laughing with Bill, maybe at the same cafe where she and Monica used to go together. She imagined them talking about her, maybe even making jokes behind her back. The thought hurt, but it also gave her a strange new strength. One evening, she sat at her desk, looking out the window at the lights of the city. She whispered to herself, "They think I don't know, but I do, and I will not let this go." Her anger was not loud. It was quiet, controlled, like fire under the surface. Jessica was not the type of person to shout or fight. She was the type to plan, to think, to wait for the right moment. The next weekend, Jessica decided to call Monica again. She wanted to hear her voice, to test her. "Hey, Monica," she said when her friend answered. "Hi, Jess. How's Washington?" Monica's voice sounded cheerful, almost too cheerful. "It's good. Busy, but I'm learning a lot," Jessica replied calmly. "What about you? Doing anything fun?" "Oh, not really," Monica said quickly. "Just work, you know. Same boring stuff." Jessica smiled to herself. She knew Monica was lying. She wanted to ask, "Were you with Bill last night? Did you laugh at the cafe together?" But she stayed silent. Instead, she said, "I miss you. I hope everything is okay." "Of course it is," Monica replied. "Don't worry about me." Jessica ended the call politely. But in her mind, she made a decision. If Monica and Bill wanted to betray her, they would pay. Not with shouting, not with drama, but with something smarter, something Monica would never see coming. Jessica began to think about Monica's job. Monica always said how much she loved it, how hard she had worked to get there, how she wanted to move up and earn respect. Jessica remembered those words very clearly. Her job is everything to her, Jessica thought. Then her job will be the key. From that night, Jessica's studies continued as usual, but her mind also worked on something else. A secret plan began to grow. She didn't know all the details yet, but she knew one thing. Her revenge would not be quick or simple. It would be slow, careful, and perfect. The betrayal had broken her heart, but it had also awakened her mind. Jessica was no longer just the student who wanted to be a doctor. She was also the woman who would show Monica and Bill that betrayal has a price. And so, with calm determination, Jessica started her quiet preparation. She would smile when she spoke to them. She would act normal. She would let them believe she knew nothing. But inside, she was already building the path to her revenge. Jessica was quiet in the days after she discovered the truth. On the outside, nothing had changed. She still went to her lectures, she still studied in the library, and she still smiled when her classmates spoke to her. But inside her mind, a storm was growing. She thought about Monica every night before she went to sleep, and she thought about Bill every morning when she woke up. The image of them together burned in her memory like fire. But Jessica was not going to cry or beg. She was not going to call them and shout. That was not her way. She knew that if she wanted revenge, it had to be perfect. It had to be slow, careful, and invisible. Monica could never know that she was behind it. Bill could never guess either. Jessica wanted them to think they were safe, while she prepared the trap around them. She started with small steps. First, she began to collect information. She remembered how much Monica had always loved her job. Monica worked in an office for a company that organized events. She often spoke about the projects she managed, the clients she met, and the stress of deadlines. Monica used to say, "My career is my future, Jess. One day I'll be a manager, maybe even a director." Those words gave Jessica her idea. If Monica's job was everything to her, then losing it would be the deepest cut. Jessica called an old friend from New York who also knew Monica. She asked simple questions, pretending to be curious about what was happening back home. Slowly, she learned more about Monica's workplace. Monica had a strict boss who hated mistakes. The company was proud of its reputation, and any problem could mean big trouble for the employees. This information was useful. Jessica began to build her plan in her head. She needed to know Monica's weak points. Everyone has them. Places where they are not careful, moments when they are lazy, secrets they try to hide. One evening, Jessica searched Monica's social media again. She noticed something interesting. Monica sometimes posted pictures of work events before they were finished. She did not realize that this could break company rules, because some details were supposed to stay private until the official announcement. Jessica saved those posts carefully. She did not use them yet, but she knew they might help later. At the same time, Jessica worked on her studies with even more focus. She knew she needed to look strong and successful. If Monica or Bill ever tried to check on her, they would see only a hard-working student who was too busy to notice anything. This mask of normal life was important. It made her invisible while she planned her revenge. Weeks passed, and Jessica's plan became clearer. She did not want to lie or invent stories about Monica. That was too dangerous. Instead, she wanted to use the truth. She wanted to take Monica's own mistakes and shine a bright light on them, so that her boss could not ignore them. That way, Jessica's hands would look clean, and Monica would have no one to blame but herself. One day, while Jessica was in the library, she received a text from Bill. It was short, "Hope you're doing okay." She stared at the screen, feeling both pain and anger. He had no idea she knew about his betrayal. He thought he could play both sides, giving her just enough attention to keep her quiet. Jessica smiled coldly. "Keep thinking that, Bill," she thought. "It makes my plan easier." Later that week, Jessica decided to make her first move. She created a new email address with a fake name. She wrote a polite message to Monica's company, pretending to be a client. In the message, she included one of the photos Monica had posted online too early. She asked, "Is this event already public? I thought the date was still secret." It was a small step, but an important one. She did not send the message directly to Monica's boss. She sent it to the company's general contact email, knowing it would eventually reach the right people. And she was correct. A few days later, Monica complained on social media about how her boss was angry with her team. She did not say it was her fault, but Jessica knew. Her plan had started to work. But this was only the beginning. Jessica knew she could not stop after one move. She had to be patient. She had to make Monica look unreliable again and again until the boss lost trust completely. Jessica began to keep a notebook hidden in her desk. In it, she wrote down every detail she found about Monica, the times she posted photos, the events she mentioned, the mistakes she made when she wrote online. It was like a secret diary of Monica's weaknesses. Every page made Jessica feel stronger, more in control. At the same time, she continued to act like a friend. She sent Monica short messages, asking how she was, pretending she cared. Monica always replied with cheerful words, never knowing that Jessica already knew the truth. Sometimes Monica even mentioned Bill. "Oh, I saw Bill last week," she said once in a text. "He's doing fine." Jessica read those words and felt the pain, but she did not show it. Instead, she answered, "That's nice. Tell him I said hello." Her calm replies were part of the plan. They made Monica believe that Jessica suspected nothing. The longer Monica believed this, the easier it would be to destroy her world later. One evening, after finishing her anatomy homework, Jessica closed her books and looked at her notebook full of Monica's secrets. She whispered to herself, "This is only the start. She took something from me, my trust, my love, my peace. I will take something from her too, but I will take it so perfectly that she will never know it was me." Jessica's plan grew day by day. She started to think like a detective. She followed Monica's online life carefully. She watched the times she went out, the friends she met, the way she spoke about her job. Slowly, she built a complete picture of Monica's habits. It was like preparing for a medical operation. Every detail had to be clear before the first cut. The thought of revenge no longer made Jessica sad. It gave her energy. It gave her purpose. While Monica was enjoying her stolen relationship with Bill, Jessica was building a masterpiece of silent justice. And in her heart, she knew that when the time came, it would not only hurt Monica, it would also break Bill's world. Because when Monica lost her job and her pride, Bill would see a different side of her. Their secret love would no longer shine so bright. And Jessica would not need to lift a finger then. Bill would leave on his own. As she lay in bed that night, Jessica smiled to herself. For the first time since she had discovered the betrayal, she felt strong again. She was not the victim anymore. She was the one in control. And soon, Monica would learn that betrayal is never free. Jessica waited. Months of quiet work had built the moment she needed. She had all the pieces. Now she would put them into place. She felt calm. Her hands were steady. She had thought about this plan many times. She knew each step like a map. On a Monday morning, She sent another message from the fake email. This time she wrote to the client contact listed on the company website. She wrote like a worried client. She asked about a contract that seemed wrong. She included a tiny photo that Monica had shared too early. The message sounded polite and serious. It asked simple questions. The client answered quickly. They were confused. The client said the event date did not match their records. The company saw the message and started to ask questions. Monica felt the first pressure at work that week. Her boss called a meeting with the whole team. He asked about the early photo. He asked why the client was confused. Monica tried to speak, but she looked nervous. She said the post had been her mistake. Her boss frowned. He said the company had rules. People could lose trust if they broke rules. Monica promised to be more careful. She told her team she was sorry. Jessica watched all this from far away. She did not send any more messages that day. She only waited to see how Monica would react. In the next days, Monica made small mistakes. She was slow to answer emails. She missed a detail in a report. Her boss noticed. He began to watch her work more closely. Jessica smiled, very quietly. The next step of Jessica's plan was small but smart. She sent a short, polite note to another client. She wrote from the fake name again. She asked a question about a payment. The client answered, worried. They wrote that some documents looked wrong. The company's finance team opened a file and found a small error in Monica's paperwork. The error could be fixed, but the boss was tired of mistakes. Monica was under pressure now. She tried to explain, but her voice was thin. People began to doubt her. Meanwhile, Jessica kept acting kind. She texted Monica like before. She asked about simple things. Monica answered and wrote little jokes. Monica did not know Jessica watched carefully. Monica still shared some work stories. Once Monica posted a photo of a team lunch. Jessica noticed a paper on the table with a client name. That name helped Jessica make a third message to a different client. The client asked for clarification. The company started to count small errors. A pattern began to show. It looked like carelessness. When the company had 3 different client complaints in a short time, the boss had no choice. He called Monica into his office. He asked her to explain each case. Monica tried to be brave. She told small stories. She tried to show she was only tired. But the boss had records now. The complaints were real. He told her the company had to act. Monica left the office with a pale face. She said nothing to anyone that day. Jessica felt her heart beat faster. She did not jump or shout. She only sat quietly in her room and breathed. Her plan moved like a slow machine, step by step. It worked because she had used only truth. She had not lied. She had not made false claims. She had shown the company the mistakes that Monica had already made. The company decided to give Monica a formal warning. They told her that one more mistake could end her job. Monica tried to fix things. She worked extra hours and she said sorry to clients. She posted an apology about a late announcement. She deleted the early photos when she remembered. But stress makes people tired. A tired person makes more small mistakes. In a month, another client found a problem in a contract. This time it was bigger. The client asked for a meeting with the manager. The manager and the client looked at the contract together. They found that a name and a date were not correct. The boss was upset. He called Monica again. At this meeting, Monica could not explain well. Her voice shook. She said she tried to fix it. She said she worked late. The boss looked at the papers and at the list of past complaints. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "We must protect our reputation. We cannot have many complaints. I am sorry." Monica put her head in her hands. She left the room with her eyes wet. After that day, the company began a formal review of Monica's work. Jessica watched the news online where Monica had written short, sad posts about stress. Monica posted words like, "I am so tired." She asked friends for help. Some friends wrote kind comments. No one knew the truth. Monica thought she had only lost trust. She did not know the stories that had led to this moment. On a gray afternoon, Monica's boss called her in once more. He had the review file on his desk. He showed the emails, the client notes, and the list of errors. Monica looked at the papers and felt the world move away. The boss said the company must let her go. He said they cared for their clients' trust. He said it was a hard decision. Monica could not believe her ears. She asked for time, for a second chance. The boss shook his head. The decision was final. Monica left the office. Her hands held a small box with her things. She walked slowly to the street. She felt the cold air, and she felt lost. She sent a message to friends. "I don't know what to do." Her phone filled with replies. People were sad and kind. Bill sent a short heart emoji. He wrote, "I'm here for you." Monica replied, "Thank you." Jessica read the messages later and felt nothing. She only felt calm. Bill called Monica more often now. He wrote long messages of support. He took her to coffee. He said he would help her find a new job. Monica felt grateful and moved. For a moment, she forgot she had betrayed someone. She let Bill comfort her. But comfort is not always love. Bill stayed because he felt needed. He stayed because Monica needed him at the moment. He did not think of Jessica. Later, some messages between Monica and Bill appeared on social media by mistake. They were small and private. People saw them for a short time and thought they were only friends. But soon, the conversation changed. Monica and Bill wrote about how heavy things were. Bill wrote, "I will always be by your side." Monica wrote, "Thank you for being my rock." The public saw this. People wrote kind words to both. No one knew the truth about Jessica's plan. No one knew Jessica had worked in the shadows. After the firing, Monica looked for new work. She went to interviews. She spoke with many people. Some asked about the reasons she left the old company. She tried to tell her side. Some employers did not believe her. They had seen the client complaints online. Jobs were hard to get now. Monica felt ashamed and anxious. She called Bill and cried sometimes. Bill tried to be strong for her. He gave her hope, but hope can be small. Jessica watched this change like a quiet sun rising. She did not dance. She did not shout. Her revenge had been clean. Monica had lost her job because of her mistakes. Monica had no one to blame. The company had acted on real facts. Jessica's hands were clean. She had used truth, patience, and careful steps. She had not hurt anyone physically. She had not been cruel in words. She had only shown what already was true. In the weeks after, Monica's life slowed. She visited fewer friends. She posted less. Bill stayed with her sometimes, but also went out with his own friends. Their relationship felt weaker. Monica felt small and tired. Jessica sat in her room and opened a book. She read a page and then another. She studied like before. She finished a big test with a high grade. Her future looked bright again. But her heart was different now. It was stronger and colder. She had taken her revenge. It had worked. She had proof in the world that loyalty matters. At night, Jessica walked alone near the campus. She breathed the cool air. She thought about what she had done. She felt a quiet triumph. She also felt a little sadness. People suffer in many ways. But she had learned something important. When someone breaks trust, a smart answer can show the truth. She had used her mind to heal her pain. She had shown that she would not be weak. And in the quiet of that night, Jessica looked at the stars and felt ready for the last part of her story. She had finished the plan. Now she had to live with the result. She did not know what would happen next with Bill or Monica, but she knew she would move forward. She would continue her life, study medicine, and become the person she wanted to be. The weeks after Monica lost her job were heavy. She tried to keep her smile, but her eyes showed sadness. She spent long hours at home, sending her resume to many companies. Most did not answer. Some gave polite refusals. Monica began to understand that her mistake at the last job had followed her. The event world was small. People talked. Bill stayed close to her at first. He wanted to help. He told her she was strong, that she would find a new path. He bought her coffee, took her for short walks, and tried to make her laugh. Monica felt thankful, but deep inside, she was afraid. She thought about how different things were when Jessica was around. Back then, she had a friend who trusted her and a man who looked at her with pride. Now she had only a man who looked tired and a future that looked uncertain. Jessica, in Washington, continued her studies. She passed exams with good grades. Professors noticed her calm focus. Her classmates respected her. On the outside, her life was quiet, full of books and lectures. But inside, she carried the memory of what had happened. She remembered every late-night plan, every quiet step she had taken against Monica. Now the plan was complete. Monica had lost the one thing she loved most, her career. One evening, Jessica saw a photo online. It was Monica and Bill, sitting together in a small park. Monica looked pale and tired. Bill's smile was small, not bright like before. They looked like two people who were trying too hard to be happy. Jessica studied the photo carefully. Then she closed her laptop and whispered, "This is enough." She did not need more. She did not want to destroy them completely. She had already taken back her power. Her goal had never been loud revenge. It had been balance. Monica had stolen something from her, and now Monica had lost something important too. Days passed, and Bill began to change. At first he had been kind, always ready to support Monica. But slowly, his patience grew thin. He started to miss calls. He went out with his friends more often. When Monica asked where he was, he answered quickly and without care. "Busy," he would say, or "later." Monica felt the distance growing. Jessica was not surprised. She knew Bill well. He liked success, bright smiles, and simple days. Monica without her job was different. She was heavy with sadness. Bill did not want to carry that weight forever. Their secret relationship, which once felt exciting, now felt like a mistake. One afternoon, Jessica received a short message from Bill. It said, "How are you? Been thinking about you." She read the words carefully. She knew what they meant. Bill was testing her. He wanted to see if she was still waiting for him. Jessica smiled, but it was not a warm smile. It was calm and cold. She did not answer. She deleted the message. She understood now. Bill was weak. He had left her for Monica when life was easy. Now that life with Monica was hard, he thought about coming back. But Jessica was not the same girl anymore. She was stronger. She had no space for him in her future. Monica continued to look for work, but nothing appeared. Some people stopped calling her. Others gave excuses when she asked for help. She felt alone. She looked at Bill for comfort, but he was slowly slipping away. She thought about Jessica sometimes, but she never knew the truth. She believed Jessica was far in Washington, busy with school, not thinking about her at all. Jessica kept her secret. She never told anyone about the plan. That was the power of it. She could walk into the future with clean hands, while Monica wondered why her life had broken. Months passed. Jessica finished another semester with excellent results. She walked through the campus one evening, the sun setting behind the tall buildings, and she felt light. She had faced betrayal. She had felt the deep cut of lies. But she had answered with patience and intelligence. She had shown herself that she was not weak. The story of Monica and Bill slowly faded from her daily thoughts. They were pieces of her past now, lessons written into her heart. She had learned that trust is fragile, and once broken, it can never be the same. She had also learned that revenge does not always need anger. Sometimes the best revenge is quiet, careful, and final. One night, Jessica wrote in her journal. She wrote, "I came to Washington to study medicine, but I also learned something about people. Friends can betray, love can change, but strength must come from inside. I will never forget this. It will make me a better doctor and a stronger woman." She closed the book and looked out of her window. The city lights of Washington glowed against the dark sky. She breathed deeply. Her future was in her own hands now. Monica had her own path to walk, and Bill had his choices to face. Jessica did not need to follow them anymore. She turned off her light, lay down, and smiled softly. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new lessons, and new hope. The past was behind her, and she, Jessica, was ready for everything that waited ahead. Life often teaches us lessons in quiet ways. The story of Jessica, Monica, and Bill is not only about betrayal and revenge. It is also about choices, consequences, and the truth that every action creates results. When Monica decided to take Jessica's boyfriend, she thought she was winning something. She thought she was clever and that her secret would stay hidden. But secrets do not stay hidden forever. Slowly, the truth comes out. Sometimes it comes in words, sometimes in events, and sometimes in silence. Jessica felt pain when she discovered the truth. Betrayal hurts deeply, especially when it comes from a friend. She could have shouted, fought, or destroyed everything openly. But instead, she chose a quieter way. She planned carefully and took away something Monica loved, her job. In the end, Monica was left with sadness and an empty future. But here is the real lesson. Even though Jessica was smart, revenge never gives full peace. When we focus on hurting others, even secretly, a part of that hurt also stays inside us. Jessica learned this. After her plan was complete, she felt calm, but not happy. She saw that she had proved her strength, but the pain of betrayal was still part of her memory. No revenge can truly heal the heart. Bill's choices also teach us something important. He wanted excitement, so he left Jessica for Monica. For a short time, everything seemed fun. But when life grew difficult, he grew tired. This shows us that people who betray once may betray again. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it rarely returns. Bill's weakness is a reminder that building a life on lies never lasts long. So what can we learn from all this? First, it is better not to betray. Taking something from another person may feel powerful in the moment, but it will always return as pain. Monica thought she had won, but she lost more than she gained. Second, it is better not to waste our energy on revenge. Life has its own way of bringing fairness. Often, people who act with lies and selfishness fall on their own. The world has a balance. We may not see it immediately, but time reveals it. Jessica's true victory was not in making Monica lose her job. Her real victory was in growing stronger inside. She learned she could survive betrayal. She learned she could continue with her studies and create her own future, independent of Bill or Monica. This is the kind of strength that lasts, not the temporary satisfaction of revenge. Life is fair in a quiet way. It is like a mirror. What we give to others, we eventually receive back. If we give trust, care, and honesty, we will find people who return the same. If we give lies, betrayal, and selfishness, we will meet the same in return. This is not magic. It is simply the natural way of human life. So, when we feel hurt, we must remember, revenge is not the answer. The better answer is to focus on ourselves, to grow, to learn, and to move forward. People who do wrong will meet their own consequences sooner or later. It is not our job to punish them. It is our job to live well, to protect our hearts, and to stay true to who we are. Jessica's story is dramatic, but it is also a mirror for many lives. We all meet betrayal, disappointment, or lies at some point. What matters is how we answer them. Do we fall? Do we fight in anger? Or do we rise, stronger and wiser? The choice is always ours. In the end, the greatest revenge is not revenge at all. The greatest revenge is success, peace, and happiness. Life is fair. Life gives back what we put into it. So let us choose trust, kindness, and strength, and let the world return the same to us in time.